All right, now we'll go with the second two pieces before we can actually start doing anything with the game. We're going to do some objects. So I'm going to go down here to where it says objects. I'm going to right click on object. I'm going to hit create object. And from here, I'm going to call it obj underscore player. I'm just going to repeat the names I used up top. So on player, I'll put that one in and just say okay for right now. I'm going to right click, I'm going to right click again on objects and hit create objects. And I'm going to hit obj underscore, I'm trying to remember what the second was called. I remember cheese, so I'll get that one in there. Obj underscore cheese, one was called animate. So I hit that one. I say okay. And I'm going to go up here and I'm going to create another object, obj underscore animate. And again, I'm going to choose the sprite and say animate this time and hit okay. And last but not least, I'm going to create an object and I'm going to say obj underscore Hamtaro. And I'm going to pick a sprite. And I'm going to pick the Hamtaro sprite. I'm going to say okay. So sprites are just images and objects are what we code with. So you actually have to double up most times, except if you are using an image on an existing object, and I'll show you that here in a minute maybe, or if you are perhaps using just straight up coding and you don't need an image, then you might only have one or the other. But in general, these things go together like peanut butter and jelly. The last thing you need is a room. So I'm going to go down here, I'm going to hit create room, and I'm just going to give it a basic room notation. I'm going to call it room underscore start for right now. All right, on room underscore start, I can do a few things. If I want to change the color of the background from dull gray to something different, like a lavender, I can. I can change the size of it if I want to. As we see the settings, the standard size is 1024 pixels by 768. I'm just going to leave it right there for right now. And all I'm going to do from here is I'm going to put in objects. And as I put in objects, I'm going to go down here where it says object player. And as you can see, this is the button. So I put in the button. I'm going to switch from object player to object cheese, and I'm going to put in the cheese. I'm going to switch to object animate. I'm going to put on the animate. And the only one I'm not going to put in for a moment is Hamtaro, so I'm going to leave him out, and I'm going to put in the other three. Now I'll go ahead and put in the Hamtaro, and I put him in. And some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller, and you say, well, that's just ridiculous. I'd like Hamtaro to be bigger. So as long as you're on Hamtaro, notice he's the one that I just put in, and it says Object Hamtaro here. I can go to Scale, and if I want to, I can scale him up a little bit. Notice he'll blur out a little bit because if he's made it a smaller pixel size, as you increase the picture size, you're going to lose some detail. If you want to make the cheese smaller, you could go here to the cheese, and you could put in 0.5 for your scale, 0.5. And as we see, we can rotate this thing or change its alpha. You're like, what's an alpha? Well, here, let's just put in 100 and see. So an alpha is going to change the transparency of something. So there's that, and maybe, heck, I'll rotate it 90 degrees to boot. And as you can see, now it's turned at 90 degrees. I guess it might have went counterclockwise. So there's its position, there's its scale, its alpha if we feel like messing with it, and everything else. So that's not bad. I just might make this one a little bigger. Let's make my animate 1.5 and 1.5. And I'll just run this real quick for you. So now that we have a room and everything's in there, you go up here to the green button and you hit run. And it won't do much, but you'll see that the animate things will animate. And the other things, they won't do a thing. But notice this alpha is down here, so it's kind of a bit. And you go, well, that's kind of silly, and maybe they're moving too fast. I'll show you one maybe extra thing. I'll show you two extra things you can do with a create an image, and then we'll just call it good for today. So you hit X and exit out. And then we're going to go to the object, and we're going to do a little coding. So I'm going to go to Object Hamtaro. I'm going to add an event called a create event. With that create event, I'm going to go over here to Control menu, and I'm going to drag a piece of paper that says code up in there. And if I put 3 forward slashes, that means I'm just going to write something. So I'm going to say slow him down. And how do I slow him down? It's a command called image speed equals, and I'm going to slow it down to 10%, which is 0.1. So this will really slow Hamtaro down for a moment. Okay, and I'm only going to show one more thing for a moment. I'm going to leave the smiley face exactly how it was, but I'm going to go up here to the object cheese, for example. I'm going to add the same event called a create event. I'm going to go to the control menu, and I'm going to grab the code and a piece of paper over here, and I'm going to say make him spin. So notice if I put the 3 forward slashes in front of it, it just turns it green, and that just means it's notation. It's not actually any code. And here I'm gonna put image underscore angle plus equals n, and I follow that by a semicolon. So what this will do is every frame, so, oops, that's actually in a create function. So image angle is equal to, I'm just going to change it. I'll just put a 180 for right now. So image angle changes as angle. I'll do that plus equals on another video, and I'm going to hit check. So now I'm just going to run it again, and let's see what changes happen to our video here. So as you can see here, I don't know if you can see my little highlighter, but the cheese has rotated again. So the cheese is at a different angle, and Hamtaro is actually walking at a reasonable speed here. Obviously, we didn't mess around with the smiley face, so it's still a little faster than we'd like it. But those are some of the things you can do with the create function. There's plenty of stuff you can do. I just wanted to start us off. That's good. Thanks.